us. Secondly, this is a this is an incredible amount of orchestration um, to make all this happen and to bring together all these different agencies of first responders. And so to Ms. Passero for coordinating all this, thank you very much. She's done a really great job doing this. And she didn't do it alone. She had the help of people from the first responder community. And so before I introduce them, I want to also say thank you to Terry Sinopoli. She's an alum, and her family owns Arlene's Costume Shop, and she helped us this morning with some of the special effects makeup along with Mrs. Barber. So thanks to them. Fire Marshal Steve Morgan is here from the Rochester Fire Department. He's been our point person on this. And Deputy Resch from the Monroe County Sheriff's Department has helped us coordinate the police response for this and helped us to put together this whole program. And so I'm going to turn this over to Deputy Resch now.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. What you're going to see here is a simulation, obviously. We put this together in order to give you just a small glimpse of some of the things that happen at a crash scene. And we don't like to call this an accident if somebody's been using drugs. This is a crash scene. But I want to give you a little bit of a talk, and I'm not going to bore you too much with it because I know that you've probably had some of this already with regard to alcohol and other drugs as well. As you know, we have a lot of DWIs in Monroe County. Last year we had roughly 2,500 people arrested for DWI in Monroe County with a pretty high BAC, well, alcohol content. And I just want to let you know that at your age, of course, it will be illegal for you to consume alcohol and then get behind the wheel of a vehicle. In New York State, we have something called zero tolerance. Zero tolerance means if you're under 21 and you have a blood alcohol concentration of 0.02% or higher and are driving a vehicle, then you are doing that illegally. Just to give you an idea, one 12-ounce bottle of very weak beer, which is 4% alcohol content, is going to raise your BAC to 0.02%, one 12-ounce bottle. So that's not a lot. And of course, so then 4 of those are going to equal 0.08%, which would be driving while intoxicated. But in addition to driving while intoxicated at 0.08% BAC or higher, you also have driving under the influence of alcohol at 0.06 and 0.07 BAC, blood alcohol concentration. And so when you consume alcohol, it gets absorbed into your bloodstream pretty rapidly. It goes into your small intestine, primarily through your small intestine because it's 5 feet long, it's a large surface area, so it gets absorbed very quickly into your bloodstream. Once in your blood is circulating throughout your whole body and it's affecting everything, including your brain. It's a drug, of course. Alcohol is a drug. It's a legal drug, but it's a drug. It's a psychoactive drug. It means it alters your brain functioning. It alters your thinking. It alters your emotions. And it also is a poison to your body, and it is a depressant. So it depresses your central nervous system. So these things can be dangerous. And I've been to a lot of calls where alcohol poisoning has taken a life of a person. And so at your age, if you have a BAC of about 0.35, around that level, you're probably going to pass away from from alcohol poisoning. And how alcohol kills you is that when the alcohol enters your bloodstream, it replaces oxygen in your blood. And you know all of your internal organs need oxygen to survive. And by replacing oxygen, your internal organs are depleted of that and eventually will become paralyzed and eventually will stop working. So most people die from their breathing stopping, their lungs stopping. And so if you are arrested for DWI, the police officer, and you're going to see probably some of this happen here, is going to ask you to take what's called a breathalyzer, a data master we use now as a computer. It takes a breath sample and it analyzes through that breath sample how much alcohol by weight is in your blood. And the reason that works that way is because when you have alcohol in your blood, when you breathe out through your lungs, through breathing, about 5% of the alcohol is going to be removed from your body through carbon dioxide in your breathing. So that's how a device, a computer, can take a breath sample and calculate how much alcohol is in your blood, just to give you an idea. So real quick also, and then we're going to get started here, I do want to touch this very briefly on marijuana. And the reason for that is because marijuana is used quite often in conjunction with alcohol. Your age group uses marijuana quite a bit, and it is believed by your age group, because of the classes that I go to and the questions I ask of your age group, that you don't consider it that big of a deal. But I just want to let you know that marijuana is also psychoactive. It is also a depressant. And by using marijuana and alcohol in conjunction with each other, it increases the absorption into the bloodstream of both of those drugs. So again, it can be very dangerous, especially operating any type of a vehicle. And I just want you to think about that as you watch the simulation. You've got to really consider the things you're doing at your proms and balls, so that you make sure that you're not getting into that vehicle in any type of condition under influence of any drug. And we're not going to talk about the other drugs that are out there. You know what they are, and you know that there are other drugs out there that people do use sometimes and get behind the wheel of a car. And we don't want that to turn into a criminal charge for criminal negligent homicide on your part, if anything like that were to happen. So again, this is just going to be a very short slice of what would happen in an actual crime scene. So we're going to set the situation up where a couple of students from a school go out to their proms and their senior balls, and then afterwards they go to an after prom party, and one of them becomes intoxicated on the way home, get into this car crash. So one person is going to be intoxicated in this simulation, and one person is going to be deceased in the simulation. And so we're going to start this scenario. And I wanted just to let you know, before the police arrive, I'm going to be narrating the police portion of this. Well, I'm going to tell you what the responsibilities of the police are before they arrive, so that you can kind of take in and kind of watch that. We do have representatives from the fire department over here, and they're going to come up and they're going to give you a narration on what the fire department's job is at a scene like this. And then we have a representative from the ambulance corps, and they're going to also tell you what they are doing with regard to the medical issues regarding the survivors and people who are injured. So what is the police responsibility? Well, first off, to try to protect the scene as much as possible, keeping in mind that they have to allow for room and everything for the fire department and the ambulance corps to do their rescues and their medical service. So to protect the scene, also to investigate it, to determine what exactly took place, what caused this scene. And once a drug is recognized as being a contributing factor in this, it's no longer just a crash scene now, it's also a crime scene. So we would have, obviously, more than just one or two officers. You're going to see a couple officers here. We'd have multiple probably at a scene like this. And they would be taking measurements. They would call in a crash reconstruction officers who are specially trained in reconstructing the accident. And they'll be able to determine speeds and everything that's involved with this crash. And so we're going to start the simulation now. And as it's going on, we'll say a few things here and there. But pretty much I want you to take in the whole incident. Okay, we can start it.
Oh my God. Hello, 911? Yeah, Matt. My friend Vanessa was driving, and I don't even know what happened. My friend Frankie's not responding, and I can't. Come quickly as you can. I have no idea where I am. Vanessa, what the heck? What the heck happened? Maddie, something? You okay?
Matt, I can't feel my legs.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I can't.
Where are you? Okay, they're on the way. The cops are on their way. What is... No, I don't want that. Give me those. Get it out of here. Frankie? Frankie, what are you... Oh my God. windows. Are you serious? What the heck? No.
Got some more in the back. Want some more? Vanessa, no. What are you doing? We got 5 more in the back. We have to go through them all. The cops are here. If I bring these home, my mom's going to kill me. We have to finish them now. What are you going to do with the bottles? I'll throw them out the window. Vanessa, they're right there.
That's okay.
What's going on here, guys? We have any injuries?
Going home.
I can't feel my legs.
473, action,
My hands. I can't feel my legs.
Don't move. We got an ambulance coming. Ma'am, do you have any injuries?
It's all good here.
All good? Let's put that beer down.
I'm having a heat bath.
Okay.
I can't move.
got a possible 980.
Where you guys come from?
We went to a party. We just came from prom. Hello? Where'd everyone go?
Okay, so the officer is going to be doing some field sobriety tests. We've recognized that alcohol was part of this crash, and so he's going to be giving field sobriety tests. That to give him probable cause to make an arrest for DWI. He's going to be looking at balance, ability to understand instructions, the condition of the person, their eyes, odor of alcoholic beverage on the breath, ability to balance themselves and to perform certain field tests.
You see a trunk? Can you see a hood pop over there, boss? Never mind, I got it. What's your name?
Maddie.
Maddie? My name's Louis. What hurts you there?
I can't feel my legs. My head hurts.
I get you on this quick as possible.
Okay. Oh, my mom.
I love how everyone can
As you guys can see, the first thing they did was stabilize the car before they started using tools to open it up, because you don't want it to start moving or rolling. Also, they're looking to disconnect the battery, because sometimes even after an accident has already happened, the airbag can deploy. Another thing to notice is they pulled a hand line off, just in case anything happens with a gas tank rupturing. We want to make sure we have a hand line in place to put a fire out.
Every officer has determined that DWI, no probable cause for making an arrest for DWI, and the person has been handcuffed in the back of the police car. And now this is not going to be just a DWI arrest, but probably a manslaughter arrest as well.
Josiah, move over, you're blocking people. They can't see. Behind you. Thank you.
Accidents are really tough to induce. They're very dynamic. You never know exactly what's going on in the inside of your body. The friend we have over here, he just has marks on his forehead, but you never know if he's sustained internal injuries that we might not be able to see. One of my coworkers actually had a vehicle flip into a field, and the man looked like he was okay and he didn't want to go to the hospital, but afterwards he died because he suffered so much internal trauma from the force of the accident. So, although people might appear that they're okay, you might think that this could be just a simple accident, but when vehicles become involved, it gets pretty serious and things that you might not expect to happen to people. We also have our friend up in the passenger seat over there. She's complaining of her legs. If her legs are crushed under the dashboard, sometimes people end up dying because the damage of the breakdown of the cells releases toxins, and that can travel to your heart and cause a heart attack too. So it's not just straightforward stuff when it comes to injuries like that. They cause other problems. That's why we're here to talk to you about how serious these accidents can really be.
just to let you know that when it's determined that a person is deceased in a crash like this, then there's no reason to immediately remove that body. It's more important, of course, to tend to those people who are still alive and injured rather than that. So it's usually, once it's confirmed that they are deceased, it's usually at the end of the rescue, and it's more of a recovery as opposed to a rescue. And of course, the medical examiner's office responds to the scene and takes care of the body. So that is not unusual if you see that happening.
So sometimes at car accidents, the person is pinned on one side and maybe up against a wall on another side, so the only option is to take the entire roof off the top and then extricate the patient that way.
They have a hearse over there. They are. They brought a hearse. There's a whole hearse.
Some accidents, there could be a lot of blood loss inside the car. So I've been at accidents where the paramedics actually got in before the fire department extricated the person, and actually got an IV inside of the car before they got him out. Because if the person bleeds out in there, there's no point in in doing all this. So sometimes there's medical procedures that have to be done still inside of the car before you actually get them out, and that is very challenging because a lot of times it's hard to get in because there's a terrible accident. So you're in a very uncomfortable position. It's dark. Sometimes it's cold or snowy. The car may be upside down.
They don't take you right in the circle.
I went to a party, Mom. I remembered what you said. You told me not to drink, Mom, so I drank soda instead. I felt proud inside, Mom, the way you said I would. I didn't drink and drive, Mom, even though the others said I should. I know I did the right thing, Mom. I know you are always right. Now the party is finally ending, Mom, as everyone is driving out of sight. As I got into my car, Mom, I knew I'd get home in one piece because of the way you raised me, so responsible and sweet. I started to drive away, Mom, but as I pulled out into the road, the other car didn't see me, Mom, and hit me like a load. As I lay here on the pavement, Mom, I hear the policeman say, "The other guy is drunk, Mom, and now I'm the one who will pay." I'm lying here dying, Mom. I wish you'd get here soon. How could this happen to me, Mom? My life just burst like a balloon. There was blood all around me, Mom, and most of it is mine. I hear the medic say, Mom, I'll die in a short time. I just wanted to tell you, Mom, I swear I didn't drink. It was the others, Mom. The others didn't think. She was probably at the same party as I. The only difference is, she drank, and I will die. Why do people drink, Mom? It can ruin your whole life. I'm feeling sharp pains now. Pains just like a knife. The girl who hit me is walking, Mom, and I don't think it's fair. I'm lying here dying. All she can do is stare. Tell my brother not to cry, Mom. Tell Daddy to be brave. And when I go to heaven, Mom, put Dad's boy on my grave. Someone should have told her, Mom, not to drink and drive. If only they had told her, Mom, I would still be alive. My breath is getting shorter, Mom. I'm becoming very scared. Please don't cry for me, Mom, when I need you. You were always there. I have one last question, Mom, before I say goodbye. I didn't drink and drive, so why am I the one to die?
So I just wanted to turn this over to a representative from the funeral home to say a few words about the things that they also have to go through with regards to these types of incidents.
Hello, I'm Katie Meeson. I graduated here in '98. My family owns Bayfleck and Meeson Funeral Home, and I can't express to you the importance of this today. It actually touches my heart, and it's very emotional, as it should be for all of you. There is going to be a point in your lives where, if you haven't already, you're going to have to deal with a death of a loved one. Hopefully it's a natural cause, nothing like an accident or a car crash, drugs, alcohol. These things can be prevented. I ask that you, during prom, ball, college, as your life goes on, please do not drink and drive. It doesn't just affect you, it affects your family. You don't want to have your parents come in and pick out your casket and bury you. I don't mean to put fear inside of you, but it's almost as if it has to happen today, because what's happening in our community with the deaths and the accidents and the drugs, something needs to be done. And I hope that today you learned something by this. And be there for each other. Because the more you're there for each other, I think that the less it will happen. If anybody needs anything, questions, concerns, or ever needs to talk to anyone, feel free to contact us, the school, your counselors. We're all here for you. Thank you.
I want to talk a little bit about what the fire department did here today. So at a people trapped assignment, we send a Hirsch tool company, which these are the tools you see them using to cut the vehicle apart. We got spreaders and cutters and rams, all types of equipment we can use to extricate a person when they're trapped in their vehicle. So normally we would have a specialty company like Engine 10. We would also send our rescue as a backup Hirsch tool, because you never know, equipment isn't always 100%. So we have to have a backup Hirsch tool. We'll have a battalion chief come to oversee the scene, and we'll also have a company there for EMS. I talked a little bit about the fact that they had a hand line, an 1 3/4 hand line out, because I've been at accidents where the gas tank was ruptured. So when gas was leaking out all over the ground, so we need to have that in place just in case that gets ignited. Also, if you guys noticed, they put those wood chocks underneath the vehicle to stabilize the vehicle. Before we start cutting and spreading on a vehicle, the first thing we do is make sure the engine is off, make sure the vehicle's in park, and also we go for the battery, because when you start cutting and spreading inside of a vehicle, those sensors can still be active if there's still power going through the car. And if you hit one of those sensors and we're inside working, those airbags come out very violently, and the patient could get hurt more than they already are, or one of the guys that are working inside the vehicle can get hurt. Also, one of the things we do, you see where the truck is placed? A lot of our accidents are right on the highway. So what we like to do is to protect the entire scene. So we would have a truck, sometimes it'd be a little bit closer than that, but it would be right behind the scene. So as cars ride by, you know, people are very nosy when they see flashing lights. They'll be trying to look to see what's going on with the accident, and they can veer over and hit one of the first responders that are working out there. So we like to use our equipment to protect our scene, especially if the state troopers or the sheriffs or the police aren't there yet. Also, these guys, they work very well together. Everyone has a specific job, so before we even get to the scene, we know exactly what we're going to do. Okay, so there's no question when we get there. As you can see, when they got off of that truck, everything happened pretty fast. These guys are professional, and they're the best around. The other thing I wanted to talk to you guys about, it's really, really obvious to people that are sober when people have been drinking. Drunk people, when they're all around each other, everyone's the same. But when we pull up to a scene, it's almost immediate. You can't hide it. All right? So don't think that you can be slick about it. You're teenagers, so you're already terrible drivers. Adding alcohol to it isn't going to help. All right? So don't drink and drive. I can tell you some stories, and these guys can as well, about some of the lives we've seen ruined because people thought that they could drink and drive. All right? So I'm going to let Firefighter Freeze talk a little bit about what the ambulance does when they get there. She works on the fire department with us now, but she worked on rural metro for a while as well. So she's going to talk to you a little bit about what they look for when they first get there.
Like I said, when they were getting the people out of there, accident scenes are pretty dynamic, because you come up to them, you got to figure out what happened and what injuries we're going to be looking for. So as you saw, they had injuries on their head. When we come up, we have to look for indications that they'd had severe head trauma, like damage to the glass, to the windshield. If people are wearing their seatbelts, they're going to bounce around inside. That's going to cause even more problems. They could be ejected. We're looking for passenger compartment intrusion. Not much here, but obviously you guys have seen cars get smashed up, and people are pinned inside, hurt inside. Like I said before, you never know if someone's going to have internal trauma. That's some serious stuff. You could die from that, not even realize that it's going on. they had to take spinal cord precautions, make sure they weren't moving that person around very much because obviously we don't have x-ray vision. We can't tell if they have a break in their spine somewhere. Other than that, they're very serious scenes. I don't know if you guys have much exposure with any type of car accidents, but we just have to be really serious about how we handle the patients, getting them out, because they hurt people pretty bad. So,
we want to address any questions that you guys might have. Anything you saw out here that you want a little bit more explanation on. Obviously, some of the things that you saw out here, they happen a little bit faster than normal. Obviously, the funeral home wouldn't be just sitting here waiting that fast, but we had to make it as realistic as possible. Does anybody have anything they want to address, or they want us to address? Captain, Lieutenant, do you have anything?
Use Uber.
All right, well,
right, do you have a discount code?
Thank you. I want to again say thank you to all of our first responders. What they do is incredible, and can we please give them a round of applause for this? And also to our representatives from Bayschleck and Meeson, Katie and Mark Meeson, both are alums, and the times we go to a funeral home often, it's because someone's died of natural causes, but they also see this.